Hello, welcome to my Let's Play of Pacific Drive. In the intro to this game, they give you a little bit of context about what the Olympic Exclusion Zone is, as a walled-off section in the Pacific Northwest of a government project. This zone is a sort of dangerous area, and you as the player are tasked with discovering its secrets. At the beginning of the game, you start with just yourself and a delivery vehicle. This is your shipping manifest. You're supposed to deliver something into the zone. It never gets there. Spoiler alert. Here we are driving your delivery to the inner zone. We can see the natural beauty of the Pacific Northwest around us. It's quite spectacular. The lighting in this game is sort of serene and beautiful. Here it gives us some tutorials. In this raining place, you're going to need your wipers quite a lot. You'll need your headlights too, as we'll see momentarily. We can see in the distance the Olympic Exclusion Zone. I'm going to skip ahead here shortly to a moment when we're a little closer. As we draw closer to the zone, we begin interacting with anomalies. These distortions in space-time that we see here are features of an organic, or semi-organic at least, metaphysical anomaly that has overtaken the zone, almost taken it back in a sense. And as we come through this gateway, the anomaly takes us, and we're sucked into the exclusion zone. Here in the exclusion zone, life works a little differently. We can see inorganic compounds floating in space. We see these machine parts of the car we were just in floating. We can interact with it and watch it sort of dither up into the atmosphere. Now we'll have to go under an obstacle here. This is, funny enough, the only time the game ever asks you to use crouch. Literally the only moment in the game when it asks you to do that. Now we'll do the typical jump tutorial. And we've already used the interact kick button before, but we'll kick through some hard objects here. Funny enough, a lot of objects that are hard and man-made or decayed and falling apart are going to be things that we break down in order to get to where we need, or in order to make parts for this car that we've just come upon. We'll get dialogue when we enter this car.
Yes, it's back. It's back. This is Tobias Barlow and Francis Cook, located in mid-zone sector B. Do you read me? I'm picking up your distress signal in the outer zone. It looks like you're somewhere around sector E. Hey, Francis, come here. Yes, it's urgent. Leave that interferometer alone for a second. Something is out there.
That something that's out there is us.
We won't hear a thing back. You're in serious danger.
He's got a good point. Since we don't have a transmitter, they can't hear us at all. This is crucial to the moment-to-moment gameplay. Here we have some scrap that we're going to need to repurpose. But I'm going to skip ahead to the auto shop here, which is our sort of safe house that they've been guiding us to. Seems abandoned.
Who's there? The shop. It's been breached. You've got 5 seconds to get the hell out before I... Ow! My head. It's an emergency broadcast.
Hello, attention. This message is for Dr. Ophelia Turner.
Oppie seems a little hungover. I love that.
Now, we have it on very good authority that this person is in possession of a remnant, which has taken the form of a car, and, well,
Get off the remnant thing. She's not gonna care.
right, like I said, super officials own business. Protocol, demands that you keep them alive until we can get them to safety. Now, if you do not comply, I will occupy this broadcast channel with a recitation of the entire collection of poems I've personally written. That's 10 years and 17 volumes and...
Cover that voice, cuts like a nail gun to the skull. So, another breacher, huh? How do you outsiders not understand that Arda didn't build that 300-meter wall out there for fun? Unless you're one of the unfortunates who got zapped through. Wait, I just remembered. I don't give a damn why or how you got here. You're trespassing, and I'd kindly like you to get the hell out of my zone.
Here we meet a new friend, the friendly dumpster. He's going to give us lots of goody goods. This scrapper here has a little heart icon on it, which you will recognize from the companionship cube of Portal Fame. Here we're going to use it to break apart these human-made structures that are rusting. They're useless otherwise. We're going to break them down into their bare components in order to build up the semi-organic remnant vehicle that we're driving. There's a clear sort of queer ecological undertone through this. And we're going to make a crude door out of some of the parts that we've just fished out using our dumpster-given scrapper.
There's a little prototype of mine in the
And now we're going to install this art device that Hoppy has given us. This is very important.
This beauty won't just be your tour guide. It's your North Star and the only way back to safety. Heck, you should consider it the
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit if you plan on staying alive. That's how important this thing will be to you. Yes, that's my very own invention. I'll tell you more about it if you live long enough to use it.
This is the route planner. Oppie's going to give us a tutorial about what the zone is. And essentially on the route planner, we trail up this path to our next destination. On the right here, you can see junction conditions, route analysis, and a lot of question marks at the bottom. Those question marks are a list of anomalies and resources we can find in the area, and the route analysis gives us some information about the kinds of structures, gas, etc., things that we can find there. The junction condition that's going to show for us is going to be perpetual stability, which is what we're going to want in order to spend as much time as we can in the zone uninterrupted. That is the peaceful junction condition. There are many others, such as some that create storms and some that make your car fly up in the air when you get hit by things. So this one's going to be perpetual stability, which is great.
Off you go.
As we've set the thing, you can see there on the right that that's been occupied. The ones below have not been recognized because we have to scan items in order to get those. Oppie says that the zone sections can turn into swamps, etc., and turn back. And in this way, I think that they are queering themselves in a certain sense, constantly in transgressive states, between states, operating in a sort of fluid stateness, which I think is really quite interesting. And as we go through this gateway, we're going to be transported through the map into the next zone area. Here in the first zone, the damp forest outer zone, we can see the back border there that we're not allowed to cross as it becomes treacherous down those roads. I'm going to take the route off the beaten path here to run down this hill into the wilderness towards an anomaly in the background. This is an electrical anomaly that will shock the car or the user should they get near to this electric bolt. But it contains plasma, which we need. But we're going to take a brief break from that, as I have a playful little anomaly here to play with. Tobias is describing the remnants, of which this is sort of one. And we can see it's got this kind of like puppy-like thing where it loves to play fetch with these road flares that I have. And it'll play fetch with pretty much any object that gets thrown at or near them. Doors, scrap metal, pieces of anything. Sometimes it will attach to you and try to steal things out of your hands. But they're particularly fun to play with these road flares. They're sort of like puppies, like big, scary, floating, metal-covered puppies. Their chassis are made out of scraps that they've found. As the characters up above have been describing to us, remnants get really attached to their owners, and I think that this is no different for those puppies. So we picked up the plasma. We were able to take some of the scrap we found in the area to make this tool for uncovering the plasma. Another breaking tool that breaks synthetic human-made things in order to get useful pieces of man-made technology out of them to give our organic creature, this car, life. And when we did so, we satiated the electrical, anomalous creature, making it so that it no longer wished to shock us. Here we have another anomaly, the tourist. As this description reads, Christina is talking about how they would find these tourists everywhere. She says, and you're quite right about the other thing too. I know what happens when someone touches one. We've all got plenty of data on that. So I'm going to apply for a position somewhere else. She's scared of these things, clearly. Scared of a lot of things in this zone. She calls it a very strange place. She says she's sure we're doing important work, but she'd like to return to academia now. Me too. Perhaps I'm already here. Now we have something to do, something to try here. Why don't we try giving it a bit of a bump? See what happens. And it exploded on us. Not surprising that the creatures of this world are hostile. We can use some of the canned food we've found scrounging around the area to heal up. some of our health points. This wilderness is beautiful. I'd like to spend a little time in it. So I've made a route with this little blue marker on the bottom to follow into the wilderness. Along the way, I discovered another anomalous object. This is an anchor. This gives us stable points when we get back, and these stable points can be used to unlock other craftable recipes, etc. Here we have another anomaly that throws you in the air if you're under it when it activates. You can see it can fling the car up in the air playfully. There's another playful creature nearby who wants to play with us. You're right, we have our puppy creature again. This sort of red wagon gesture. It clings on to us, dragging us along in our car. What a cute little guy. He just wants to have fun. I'm going to now take a brief little break here in the middle of this forest and go for a nice nature walk. Moving out of the safety of the car, transported into a forest. I stop to smell the flowers along the way. This place is beautiful. It has a sort of birchwood like section of trees here. That's really just spectacular to look at, with all the ferns and the grass growing below it, all the little foliage, downed logs, and split off branches all over the ground. It is a spectacular place. I can tell why the anomalies wanted to reclaim this place, to renature it. Make it more of a livable and lived-in space simultaneously. This is the other end of the border from the beginning of this clip. This power line has all but rusted away, but birds still fly overhead. There's still so much fauna that thrives here, in spite of the fact that it has become near inhospitable to human life. It has allowed these human structures to rust into their most primal, barren state. It's sort of a serene experience playing this game. And it isn't just quiet moments like this between the storms of its gameplay. The game's anomalous creatures also add so much life and beauty to these woods. Those puppy creatures, electrical anomalies like this one that nearly shocked me, and all sorts of fauna and flora that are anomalous, lots of little swamp creatures, etc. Here on the map I'm going to incite the storm, and the storm will allow me to teleport using some of my stable energy back to the safe house. We can see the storm approaching ahead as anomalies begin to rise more and more. I love this, like, thrusting anomaly. It's very sort of phallic, even, but it adds sort of layers to the environment. It's kind of stump-esque. It's hard and covered in concrete, and yet it feels very organic. Here I'm sliding as I'm trying to get away. I'm making my way to this light crevice with which I will enter and be transported back to the safe house.